It's going great. Thanks so much for this week. I don't know where to begin with talking about how amazing it's been. But yeah, so tell us a bit about MyFarm then, from the start. So how on earth did you come to be doing such an amazing thing?
So actually, MyFarm is a creative hub that tests and trials different educational techniques that are then tried to be used all over Africa and then potentially the world. Me and my wife Becky came across MyFarm about 3 years ago. And we were actually looking for a place to host an environmental event. And that environmental event was aimed to connect, inspire and empower the environmental community in the Gambia. So it consisted of, we had loads of sustainable vendors that were all locally produced products.
Yeah.
We had environmental talks that were based around the environment. Actually, that specific event was based around the importance of trees in the Gambia, because a lot of trees are cut down, especially when people are developing and building their own compounds. The first thing they do is they cut down all the trees, and MyFarm is an example of how not to do that and how to do it right. And we stumbled across the place and we quickly found out that there were amazing people and amazing techniques that were going around the farm. So at that time it was very much based around agriculture, and it was all about permaculture and how to work with your environment sustainably to improve your life and your livelihood while improving your land at the same time. And so we held this event, and the long story short, about a month later we ended up managing the place, and since then we've brought in a lot of entrepreneurship trainings to really bridge the gap between how to actually work with your environment, but then how to use your environment to improve your livelihood. There was always a gap in how to actually take the next step to improve your livelihood and sustain yourself and your family's Coco, get off.
Sit.
Coco. And so we brought in the entrepreneurship trainings to really link skills with how to make money and support yourself and your family's lives. And I feel like that's where we've had our true successes at the farm. We've really developed an extensive program to not only educate people, but to give people the opportunity to really go out and help themselves.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And then obviously you came into contact with me via an old friend with regards to getting music here, because there are so many strands to what you do. So I'm so impressed by the sustainability element, the biogas that you generate from animal waste and mango sugars, you know, the recycling at large, the entrepreneurship, the carpentry, and of course there's just a huge hunger, isn't there, for music and you know, being able to record it and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's really fantastic. Maybe tell us a bit about the ICT element, and you know, you've got lots of laptops and you know, people here are learning about Word and Scratch, which is coding, which is just amazing.
Yeah, no, so we want to try and get the students at MyFarm ready for the digitalised economy. So until very recently, Gambia has been very much an analogue economy. So virtually nobody's got a bank account, although that is now changing, and people were never traditionally taught how to use computers at school. And so you have to start at the very fundamentals. So we have students from all over the community. They come in, by the way, every single thing is free here, so none of the students have to pay anything. And they start off by learning the basics of how to make a folder, how to make a file, what is a file, and then we guide them through different systems and techniques to actually practicalize how to use a computer. We don't focus on any of the technical side of things. We try to get them to learn that through practicals, and that's true of all of our education actually. And so we give them things like Minecraft, which is how to develop your creativity, Scratch, which is not everybody's good at Scratch, but some people are, and it really gets them in on how to do coding. And we actually even have our own coding club now, and so I think we have 5 students who are really showing promise, and some of them are being able to build websites on HTML even, so they're getting really, really good. And it's just like everything at MyFarm, it's about giving them the opportunity to choose what they want to do. So if they're really into computers, then yes, these are the coding club. But if they're really into agriculture, there's that here as well. They can go and do permaculture classes and learn different techniques around that. They can learn about sustainability. If they really want to learn carpentry, we give them the opportunity to learn carpentry. And the same is true of every single thing. It's like when we have the really young students, we definitely focus around foundational literacy and numeracy, because that is the key to unlocking all learnings. If they don't get that grounded, then it's going to be very hard for them to learn the rest of what they would like to learn.
And so yesterday we had the grand ending of the summer school, and all the certificates were issued to, I think, about 120 students, which was just fantastic. It was such a great day, and inside there was a debate club, which was absolutely fascinating to watch. So you had a boy and a girl on each team, and they were debating about whether or not the government does control food and the economy, and you know, I was just absolutely kind of blown away by the dare I say, just how articulate that entire little half an hour was, you know. And then one of the farming guys wrote the play. I think it was the 5 Foundations of Animal Welfare, and it was just really interesting to see those guys acting out a play. Some of it was in English, and some of it I think was in Mandinka, or the mother tongue, because it's designed to show to the parents who aren't necessarily literate. So to my mind, you've got, you know, what you're doing here, you're educating young people who are then taking that back home to elder generations who aren't necessarily as literate. So there's a real kind of ground up you know, process going on. Yeah, just amazing. And so maybe tell us just a little bit about how you kind of go inland into the Gambia, right in as far as you can go, taking MyFarm on wheels.
So it's important to understand that I'd say there are 4 key departments of the farm. So we have the garden and the permaculture. We have processing, which is where we turn the various plants we have on site into different products that we then teach people how to make and then sell. We have the education department, which includes entrepreneurship, foundational literacy and numeracy, IT, science and creativity, and also that includes the outreaches as well. So we have this big old fire truck that we have. It's called MyFarm on Wheels, and it's got every single thing in it that you could possibly need to take any of the education we do at the farm to various communities and schools around the country. That goes out once every week in the dry season to different schools, and we facilitate different learning. So an example of something that they might do is that they will learn about renewable energy by making a solar-baked cake from one of our rudimentary solar ovens, which we can make, and we teach other people how to make them as well. Then, what else did I say? Education, processing, garden, and the last one is training. And so our training programs, we normally get these funded from ITC, the European Union, Gambia, UNDP, and they're big intensive training programs that are really designed to give the participants a skill, and then teach them how to use that skill to go and make money. And so we go all around the country. So last year we did 6 training programs in every region of the country that was teaching micro gardening, soap production, and entrepreneurship. We've had a huge success rate here. So several people have already started their own businesses or are training different other communities to teach them these skills as well. Because the skills are aimed, first of all, that they could make a business with them as well. They can also just help support themselves and their family. One of my favorite programs that we did that I will always be really, really proud of is we did this training program in Mile 2 prison in the Gambia, and it was just a huge success. And so I've already had, I think now I've had 4 prisoners come out of the prison since that training program, 2 of which have started their own businesses, one of which has come here for extra training, and the other one I can't really tell you, I don't know. And the last one, which is also included in the education, but this is actually Leap Learning. And so Leap Learning, MyFarm is the creative hub for Leap Learning and Africa Startup. Africa Startup focuses on agricultural innovation and entrepreneurship. Leap Learning focuses on foundational learning. And Leap Learning started here, but is now used all over the world. So we have these things called learning labs, which you abandon the old form of teaching and you turn people into facilitators. And the whole point is that students learn for themselves, by themselves, at their own level and place, using the materials within the lab, which also includes educational technology that is designed and coined by Leap Learning. So part of my job was to make applications, do training programs, run the governmental partnership that manages the learning labs in the country. And so that partnership, there are 26 learning labs across the Gambia in every region of the country that are directly managed through that partnership. and you'll have labs that are designed to accelerate learning. So it's not a replacement for school. It's they go inside schools, and the students are supposed to use the lab for an hour or two a day, and it really accelerates their learning, and that's a huge success. There's 26 in Gambia, 101 I think in Africa as a whole, and I think over 200 around the world now. And the results that we're seeing is that students really learn so much quicker when they're using these labs at the same time, because they really break down how to learn. And so I'm going to use the literacy lab as an example here. There are stations around the room, and students are allowed to move freely between each stations once they've mastered a bit of it. It breaks down how you actually learn literacy. You start off with logic and concepts. That's not technically literacy, but what you find on the ground in Africa is that what they're really missing, no matter how old they are, is logic. So you'll give someone a four-piece puzzle, and they've got no idea how to do it. But after using our logic applications, the progress is immense, and it's really, I think that is the key to unlocking actually how to learn. So they learn how to learn at this station. Then you have sounds and rhymes, which is the phonetics. You have creativity in the storytelling station, and so students have to pick cards and they have to make their own stories just in their head out of 3 cards. Then you have letter shapes, and so students will start to learn how letters are formed. Then you have writing, you have blending, word and word images, which is trying to recognize words as images, so it improves your reading fluency. Then you have sentences to start forming sentences, and then reading. So the last station is just about reading as much as you can to really develop your foundational skills as well.
That is so interesting, everything you just said right there. That's so interesting. And I guess that's the way in for the University of Northampton. You know, within music, we come here, we facilitate. We're looking at guiding your team through using the software. It's so interesting to experience what we will learn from everything you just said, really, sort of coming our way. And then, you'll be set up to teach the next generation of young people.
Well, this is what I love. I love the fact that, first of all, we met over an email in January, and the fact that you're here now, and we've had a couple of meetings in the UK as well. I've just been so happy with your level of engagement. It's like you've really understood what is going on here, and how the university can really be beneficial around that, and I really have to thank you for that. And one thing that I haven't actually mentioned is the vocational building, which is actually why you're here. And so we create applications around every single thing that we do to really help students learn, first of all at the farm, but then we get it to be used all over the world. So this table that we're actually sat on now, it was made at the farm by a carpenter, and we built an application around how to make this. And that's what the vocational school is all about. It's about giving students skills that are really marketable and useful for their lives in places like Gambia, so welding, tailoring, carpentry, and then develop their creativity and use creative skills like music, art, massaging. And so it's about a holistic approach to learning. I feel like you at the University of Northampton can really help with that. You've got skills that we don't have. You've got support from different institutions that we don't have, and I feel like the link that we could create could be so beneficial. We start off with music, we do hairdressing and beauty, I don't know if nutrition. Nutrition is one of the big 3 things that is going to be key to the development of Africa in the next 50 years. You've got health, which obviously includes nutrition, and education, and infrastructure as well, especially in Gambia as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, absolutely. And I was amazed. You were telling me that the big main road going through the town we're near has only been there, whoops doggy, for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And so my sort of perceptions are that, you know, Gambia is just exploding with infrastructure right now as we speak, and just kind of super developing. So there's just so much scope for this to be an ongoing endeavour until the end of time. Yeah.
Are they going to be alright on the video? Or?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
So some kids doing some exploring.
They saw me and then they started walking. So I started going out. I started coming to Gambia. I think I was 12 years old, and back then there was no road. And so from the airport to Banjul is a sand road.
Yeah.
From here, the Combo region, all the way up to Basse was a sand road. The first time I ever went to Basse, it took me 18 hours to get there, and now it takes about 6. And so the infrastructure in Gambia is really coming and it's really developing fast. And I feel like the country's not quite ready for it. And so that's why organisations like ourselves, MyFarm, are really, really important for the community, because school here, everybody has to pay for school. It's expensive, and because it's expensive, not everybody ends up going to school, especially when it comes to the women.
Right.
And so I feel like it's really important to get students in education as early as possible, and also give them a different type of education. And so our students, you've met a few of our older students, now, and that they are, this is not me being biased, they are miles ahead of the other students of their age group. Hadi, probably our top student, has just secured a scholarship to the University of Gambia, and from the MRC Holland. She's been given a laptop, she's had all her fees paid for her for the next 3 years.
Wow.
And so she is going to be, I don't know where she's going to end up in the next 10 years, but I'm really excited to see where she does.
Yeah.
And she's studying agricultural science, because she's been inspired by what's going on at MyFarm, and she wants to try, I think, I've spoken to her a few times, and her vision is to try to secure the food security of the Gambia in the long run. And so I'm hoping to see her as one of the environmental ministers or the agricultural minister in the future.
That's such an amazing story, yeah. I've interviewed a couple of students here that are at the University of Gambia in economics, as you just said. Yeah, I'm just so impressed by the kind of level of awareness of the environment and the world, you know, the context that the Gambia has. And how much MyFarm has kind of influenced what they're doing. Yeah, so I love the way that it goes all the way up age ranges. You know, you've got 5 all the way up to, you know, mid-20s.
We want to give them a safe space to learn. First of all, there's a few things that they have to learn, but we want to give them a safe space to learn what they want and really to follow their passion.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Lucas, I'm so impressed. I don't know what to say, really. It's been a fantastic week, and you know, I really appreciate you sharing.
Thank you
your
so
thoughts.
much. Like, honestly, it's been a pleasure. I've loved having you here. You've been probably one of the most joyous people to ever have at the farm. You've taken the Gambian culture, for which you had, let's face it, you had no idea.
Zero.
Yeah, literally no idea what it was going to be like, and you just embraced it.
Oh,
I feel like you
yeah.
could live it.
Yeah, I mean the food, the people. You know, I'm so bowled over by how friendly the people are.
Yeah.
Just like love it. And what do they say? The smiling west coast of Africa.
The smiling coast of Africa.
The smiling coast of Africa. Yeah, great. Okay.
I think it's true as well. The people
absolutely,
here.
It's true. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Cheers, Lucas.
Thank you very much. How was that?
Brilliant.
UON Music.